Homeland, Series 6, Episode 1, Talking Points. In the year or so Homeland has been off our screens, real-world events have arguably trumped the conspiracy thriller's giddiest flights of fantasy. A quirk of timing saw the series return to UK airwaves the same weekend a former reality television presenter was sworn in as American president. Could the further adventures of troubled spook Carrie Mathison, Claire Danes, compete with the riotous drama unfolding on our news bulletins? Homeland's solution, whether by accident or design, was to lean back. The show is often accused of mistaking hysteria for attention and for bashing viewers over the head with ridiculous leaps of logic. But as it entered its sixth season the excitement was dialed down, with an opening installment that promised the traditional dark dealings minus the huffing and eye-rolling. Here is what we learned. 1. Carrie has moved on, and Quinn is still with us. All was changed for Mercurial agent Mathison, who had quit the spying game and this time for good, she insisted. She was working at a Brooklyn non-profit representing Muslim Americans falsely accused of terrorism. This obviously hadn't brought inner peace. Carrie's default expression remained an anguished scowl, but at least she wasn't perpetually on the brink of a nervous episode. However, the major bombshell was that Black Ops specialist Peter Quinn, Rupert Friend, was alive, quite a reversal given that we had seemingly watched him shuffle into the great beyond at the end of Series 5, the victim of a brain hemorrhage prompted by a close encounter with sarin gas. Here he was still very much with us, though struggling with neurological injuries and the attendant hallucinations, his state of mind not helped by a cheeky visit to the local crack den. Also back were senior spies Dar Adel, F. Murray Abraham, and Saul Berenson, Mandy Patinkin. But it was not a happy return, with their covert operations under threat from a pacifist president-elect. Incredibly, America had voted into the White House a reserved woman wary of shooting her mouth off and keen to avoid conflict. Homeland has given us some unlikely storylines across its previous 5 seasons. A Hillary Clinton-esque commander-in-chief who engaged her brain before firing up her Twitter account was surely the most far-fetched yet. 2. Carrie is the guardian angel from hell. Poor Quinn. Poisoned and potentially brain-damaged, and now Carrie had taken it upon herself to chaperone him every step of the way through recovery at military hospital. She meant well but, as veteran Homeland watchers will know, the frazzled Ms. Mathison isn't exactly soothing company. "Please stay away," suggested a helpful nurse to Carrie, though the medic's authority was rather undermined when she later failed to notice Quinn sneaking out for his crack and prostitute binge. 3. Wait, did Otto just retroactively dump Carrie for refusing to go out with him? Smoothie billionaire philanthropist Otto during "No, we can't work out" his appeal either, sauntered back into Carrie's life and flashed his big puppy eyes with an exceedingly high net worth. "I'm saying no. Which is what I've been doing for the past 3 months, said Carrie, assuming Otto, Sebastian Koch, had crossed the Atlantic to repeat his offer that they become business partners with benefits. Actually no, he had met someone and merely wanted to tempt Carrie to collaborate with him in his refugee relief efforts back in Europe. She was, he declared loftily, wasted toiling at a small potatoes NGO when she could be at his side saving the world. Also, he explained with trademark sensitivity, she could really do with a boyfriend. If not him then someone, anyone else. Please come to the podium Otto, you've won the prize for week's worst pep talk. 4. Homeland's new president is basically the anti-Trump. Did the Homeland producers assume Hillary would triumph in the real president election? Why else would they have given us such an uncanny Clinton look-alike in President-elect Elizabeth Keene? House of Cards' Elizabeth Marvel. She certainly provided a contrast with the actual winner of last November's vote as she sat down with CIA bosses Adel and Saul and calmly hinted that she was about to curtail U.S. military engagement in the Middle East, prompting Adel to reach out to Mossad with the aim of accelerating their joint covert action program. Later, we learned her son had been killed in Iraq. She hadn't exploited the tragedy for political gain, but her view of America's overseas responsibilities had plainly been refracted through the prism of her grief. 5. Is Saku a potential terrorist or a victim of security services paranoia? The most significant new character was Sikuba, Mallory McCree, a radicalized second-generation Nigerian American. He spent his days filming propaganda videos at the sites of major terrorism attacks in New York and posting footage on his website. Some of what he had to share was genuinely informative. As per his piece to camera, Jewish Defense League founder Meir Kahane was indeed considered al-Qaeda's first victim on American soil. And it was made plain that he had no interest in physical acts of terrorism. Still, there was an inevitability about the FBI raid on his mother's house, with Saku unceremoniously dragged into custody. As far as Special Agent Trey Conlon, Dominic Fumusa, was concerned, the case was open and shut. The accused had uploaded inflammatory videos and was about to fly to Nigeria, Boko Haram's playground. Time to lock the door and chuck away the key. 6. Quinn is in a deep dark place with no apparent way out. In a rewarding yet slow-moving episode, Quinn's fact-finding mission to his local crack den brought welcome doses of that old Homeland crazy. He'd exited the hospital in search of drugs and prostitutes. But he was instead held up at gunpoint by a boyfriend of one of the ladies and received a clop to the head for his troubles. The robber had requested Quinn hand over his cash and was spooked into violence when his victim responded in slurred stream of consciousness. Were it not for Carrie tracking Quinn down, he'd probably still be slumped in a heap. The sequence showed just how far into the rabbit hole he had tumbled. You're in a dark place when a gunman at a crack house thinks you've mislaid your marbles. 7. Well done Homeland on having Saku and Carrie cross paths so early. In previous seasons, Homeland dragged out key story strands endlessly. So hurrah that the new series is simply getting on with things. A case in point was confirmation that Carrie, in her role as advocate for minorities falsely accused of terrorism, would represent Saku. There are echoes of sleeper agent Brody in the Izzy. Isn't he? Question marks that hung over the accused's attitude towards violence. In posting anti-Western videos, Saku insisted he was merely a kid expressing an opinion. But where does free speech cross the line into dangerous incitement? It's a question Carrie will have to tangle with in the weeks ahead. 8. Watching out Madam President, the military-industrial complex is about to strike back. The piece Nick POTUS has struck fear into the higher echelons of the American military establishment. In the episode's final scene, a cabal of intelligence chiefs, including General McClendon and Senator Cotto, assembled for some top-level, off-the-books conspiring. Adel was naturally in the thick of it. Saul, in contrast, wasn't on the guest list. The CIA bigwig had expressed the view that the new president be given a chance and thus, so far his peers are concerned, wasn't to be trusted.